The massive chamber of the Galactic Council stretched upward into darkness, its crystalline walls pulsing with the life force of 1,000 different species. Ambassador Crixtal of the Zarathian Empire stood at the center podium, his four arms spread wide in a gesture of dominance. His species had ruled this sector for 3 millennia, and today they would add another primitive world to their collection. "The vote is complete," Crixtal announced, his voice echoing through the translator systems. "Earth shall be annexed for its resources. The humans have proven themselves incapable of proper planetary management. Their constant wars, their pollution, their chaotic governments, all evidence of a species unworthy of independence." Around the chamber, hundreds of alien delegates murmured their agreement. The Earthlings had only achieved faster-than-light travel 5 years ago, barely qualifying them for Council observation status. They were infant among the stars, and infants needed guidance. Commander Sarah Chun watched the proceedings from Earth's tiny observation booth, her jaw clenched tight. Beside her, Earth's official ambassador, Dr. Marcus Webb, slumped in defeat. They had presented their case for 3 straight days, showing humanity's art, music, scientific achievements, their capacity for love and growth. None of it had mattered. "Commence the pacification protocol," Crixtal commanded. "Deploy the atmospheric scrubbers to Earth immediately. Once their air is thinned, they will be more manageable." Sarah's hand moved to her earpiece. "Phoenix Base, this is Watchdog 1. Code Black confirmed. They're moving on Earth." The response crackled back immediately. "Copy, Watchdog. Assets are in position. God help us all." Dr. Webb turned to her with wide eyes. "Commander Chun, what assets?" Earth's military wasn't authorized to doctor. "With all due respect, did you really think we'd come here without a backup plan?" Sarah's voice was cold steel. "Humanity didn't survive this long by trusting others to decide our fate. The first Zarathian atmospheric scrubber emerged from hyperspace above Earth 17 hours later. It was a monstrous thing, all sharp angles and energy collectors designed to systematically alter a planet's atmosphere over several weeks. The crew aboard felt confident. Earth's primitive defenses could never touch them. They were wrong. The bullet came from nowhere and everywhere at once. One moment, the scrubber's captain was reaching for his command console. The next, a hole the size of a fist appeared in his chest, purple blood spraying across the view screen. He looked down in confusion before crumpling to the deck. Alarms shrieked through the ship. Impact detected. Kinetic weapon. Source unknown. Another crew member's head exploded. Then another fell, clutching his throat. The bullets punched through their shields like they were made of paper, finding their targets with impossible precision. "Where are they firing from?" the tactical officer screamed. "Sensors show nothing." Because the shots weren't coming from any ship. They were coming from Earth itself, from a modified orbital defense platform that humanity had disguised as space debris. And behind the scope of the most advanced sniper rifle human engineering could produce, Master Sergeant Jake Ghost Morrison lined up his next shot. The rifle was a masterpiece of human ingenuity, a railgun hybrid that could accelerate specialized rounds to 20% the speed of light. Each bullet was crafted from materials salvaged from crashed alien probes, designed to phase through standard shielding. The scope used quantum entanglement for targeting, allowing him to see through walls and across impossible distances. Ghost had been waiting in position for 46 hours straight, sustained by stimulants and sheer determination. His spotting team fed him wind readings that didn't exist in space, calculating for gravitational distortion and relativistic effects. Every shot had a count. Humanity only had a handful of these weapons, and once the aliens figured out what was happening, they'd adapt. Another squeeze of the trigger. Another dead invader. Back in the Galactic Council chambers, chaos erupted. The main view screen showed the scrubber ship floating dead in space, its crew eliminated with surgical precision. Crixtal's mandibles clicked in disbelief. Impossible. Their technology level couldn't produce weapons capable of "You attacked our home," Sarah Chun said quietly, stepping out of the observation booth onto the main floor. It was a breach of protocol that should have gotten her vaporized, but every weapon in the room was suddenly trained on her, and she stood there calmly, almost smiling. "Human," Crixtal snarled. "You dare enter the speaking circle without permission? Your species just signed its death warrant." Sarah touched her earpiece. "Ghost, you reading me?" "Clear as crystal, Commander." "Got eyes on the council chamber through the quantum scope." "Say the word." The aliens looked around in confusion. The council chamber was in the heart of a space station, protected by layers of shields and armor. No weapon could possibly. Sarah looked directly at Crixtal. "You want to know what makes humans special? It's not our technology or our culture. It's that we're very, very good at war. We've been practicing on each other for millennia, and we've gotten creative. Your shields stop energy weapons and conventional projectiles, but they don't stop a bullet moving at relativistic speeds, phasing in and out of dimensional space." "You're bluffing," another delegate scoffed. "Even if such a weapon existed, you couldn't possibly fire it from Earth to here. The distance is—" The delegate's words cut off as a hole appeared in his chest. He looked down at it with multiple eyes, then toppled backward. 67 light minutes. Sarah continued conversationally. "That's the distance from Earth to this station. Our sniper fired that shot over an hour ago, before I even started talking. He calculated exactly where that delegate would be standing, accounting for the station's rotation, orbital drift, and the gravitational effects of 3 different celestial bodies. One shot, one kill from 4 billion miles away." The council chamber erupted in panic. Delegates dove for cover, only to realize there was no cover from a weapon that could phase through matter. Some ran for the exits, others cowered behind their podiums. "The next shot is aimed at you, Crixtal," Sarah announced. "In fact, it was fired 58 minutes ago. It'll arrive in roughly 9 minutes. Unless, of course, you'd like to discuss terms." "This is madness," Crixtal roared. "You can't threaten the Galactic Council. We represent 10,000 worlds." "And we represent one," Sarah replied. "Our world, our home. Did you really think we'd roll over and let you take it? Humanity has a saying, 'Don't tread on me.' You tread on us, and we bite back." Dr. Webb had made his way down to stand beside her, though his legs shook. "Commander Chun is correct. Humanity formally withdraws its petition for membership in the Galactic Council. We'll defend ourselves, by ourselves, against anyone who threatens our sovereignty. The fleet will destroy you." Crixtal threatened. "Every ship in the Zarathian Empire will what?" Sarah interrupted. "Approach Earth? Good luck with that. We have over 100 snipers like Ghost in hidden positions throughout the solar system. Each one can take out capital ship bridge crews from distances your computers can't even calculate. And that's just our first line of defense." She pulled out a small device, projecting a hologram into the air. It showed Earth surrounded by what looked like debris fields. "See those dots? Each one is a weapons platform. Some fire relativistic kill vehicles. Others deploy quantum mines that exist in 17 dimensions simultaneously. A few dozen are planet crackers we reverse-engineered from derelict Zenthri technology. We've spent the last 5 years preparing for this moment. But you're primitives," another delegate protested. "No," Sarah corrected. "We're survivors. We crawled out of the gravity well of our world through sheer stubbornness. We split the atom before we had computers. We went to our moon using slide rules and courage. And when we found out the galaxy was full of species that might threaten us, we did what humans always do. We got ready for war." The countdown in her earpiece reached 30 seconds. She could see Crixtal's biosigns through her augmented reality display. Heart rate elevated, threat gland swelling. He was about to order an all-out attack. 15 seconds, Crixtal. Decide. Peace, or would you like to explain to your empire how you got their entire leadership killed because you couldn't leave one small blue world alone? The Zarathian's forearms trembled. Around him, delegates from 100 different species held their breath. The Galactic Council had never been directly threatened before. They had always been the ones in control, the ones who decided the fate of lesser species. 5 seconds. Wait. Crixtal's voice cracked. We could discuss terms. Sarah smiled. Ghost, abort shooting solution Alpha. Maintain Overwatch. Copy that, Commander. Keeping the crosshairs warm, just in case. The relief in the chamber was palpable, though several delegates remained frozen in terror. Sarah walked closer to the central podium, each step echoing in the sudden silence. Here are humanity's terms, she began. 1. Earth and the entire Sol system are declared permanently sovereign territory. Any ship entering without permission will be considered hostile and eliminated. 2. The Galactic Council will provide compensation for the attempted invasion technology, resources, whatever we demand. 3. Any species that wishes to trade with humanity does so as equals, not as overlords. This is extortion, someone shouted. No, Sarah replied calmly. This is deterrence. You came to our home and tried to steal our sky. We're showing remarkable restraint by not turning your fleet into floating scrap metal. Accept our terms, or explain to your people why their leaders are coming home in body bags. The debate raged for hours. Some delegates called for immediate war, others for appeasement. Through it all, Sarah stood perfectly still, occasionally touching her earpiece to receive updates. The human sniper network remained active, crosshairs trained on every delegate who spoke too aggressively. Finally, exhausted and terrified, the council voted. Earth would remain independent. The Zarathian Empire would pay restitution. And humanity would be flagged in all databases with a new classification. Extremely dangerous. Do not provoke. As Sarah and Dr. Webb returned to their shuttle, the diplomat finally found his voice. My God, Sarah, how long have we been preparing for this? Since the moment we detected the first alien signal, she replied. Humanity hoped for the best, but prepared for the worst. It's what we do. And the sniper? This ghost. How did he make those impossible shots? Sarah smiled as their shuttle departed. Who said he made them? Half of that was theater. We had micro-drones already attached to their hull. The bullets came from inside their own ship. Ghost's real shot would have taken another 40 minutes to arrive. But they didn't need to know that. So we bluffed the most powerful government in the galaxy. No, Doctor. We showed them that humans don't just fight hard. We fight smart. And now they know that attacking Earth isn't just dangerous. It's suicidal. As their shuttle entered hyperspace, Sarah sent one final message to Earth Defense Network. Phase 1 complete. Maintain readiness for Phase 2. The galaxy just learned humanity has fangs. Let's make sure they never forget it. The Zarathian battle fleet emerged from hyperspace like predators circling wounded prey. 300 warships, each one capable of glassing a continent, arranged themselves in attack formation around Earth. Admiral Vextor stood on the bridge of his flagship, all four arms clasped behind his back. The humiliation at the council still burned in his chest like acid. Supreme Admiral, his tactical officer, reported, the human defensive platforms are active, but their technology appears primitive. Projectile weapons and nuclear warheads mostly. Vextor's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. The council were fools to fear these creatures. A few lucky shots don't make them warriors. Begin the bombardment. Show them the price of threatening their betters. From his position on Luna Base, Master Sergeant Jake Morrison watched the alien fleet through his scope. The quantum entanglement targeting system painted each ship in ghostly blue outlines, calculating weak points and predicting movement patterns. His finger rested lightly on the trigger, but he didn't fire. Not yet. Ghost, this is Control. Colonel Richard's voice came through his earpiece. Phase 2 is authorized. Light them up. Copy that, Control. Beginning the turkey shoot. The first rule of sniper warfare. Always take out the communications. Ghost crosshairs is settled on a seemingly insignificant antenna array on the flagship. To the aliens, it looked like decorative architecture. To human intelligence, who had spent months analyzing capture technology, it was the quantum entanglement communicator that linked the entire fleet. The rifle kicked against his shoulder, sending a tungsten penetrator rod screaming across space at 22% light speed. The round phased through 3 dimensions, bypassed 7 layers of shielding, and obliterated the antenna in a shower of exotic particles. Instantly, 300 ships lost their faster-than-light communication. What had been a coordinated fleet became a mob of confused vessels, each captain suddenly isolated from central command. Communications down, Ghost reported, already lining up his next shot. Beginning command elimination protocol. Admiral Vextor was still trying to understand why his comm system had failed when the view screen in front of him exploded. Fragments of transparent aluminum showered the bridge, and through the hole, he could see the stars. Emergency force fields snapped into place, but the message was clear. We can touch you whenever we want. Impossible, he roared. Our shields. His words cut off as his tactical officer's head disappeared in a spray of purple mist. Then, the navigation officer fell. Then, the weapons controller. Each shot came from a different angle, as if the sniper was teleporting around their ship, firing from inside their own shields. But Ghost hadn't moved from his position on Luna. Instead, he was utilizing humanity's greatest secret weapon, the bullet itself. Each round contained a microscopic AI core powered by zero-point energy, capable of making course corrections mid-flight. Once the bullet phased through the shields, it could navigate inside the ship, bouncing off bulkheads and flying through corridors until it found its programmed target. Smart bullets, humanity called them. Guided missiles the size of a fingernail. On Earth, General Patricia Hayes watched the tactical display from the Strategic Defense Command bunker. How many command crews has Morrison neutralized? 17, and counting, ma'am, her aide reported. The alien fleet is in complete disarray. They're starting to fire on each other, thinking infiltrators are aboard. Good. Activate the swarm. From hidden silos across Earth's moon, millions of micro-drones launched into space. Each one was no bigger than a marble, painted matte black, and powered by miniature ion drives. They spread out like a cloud of locusts, too small for alien sensors to track individually. The Zarathian destroyer, Pride of Conquest, was the first to encounter the swarm. The tiny drones attached themselves to the hull like barnacles, then began to drill. Not through the armor. That would take too long. Instead, they targeted specific systems, sensor arrays, weapon power couplings, life support regulators. Death by 1,000 cuts. Within minutes, the destroyer was blind, deaf, and struggling to maintain atmosphere. The crew abandoned ship in escape pods, only to find those pods mysteriously losing power and drifting helplessly through space. This is insane, Dr. Webb said, watching from the observation deck of the human command station. How do we develop all this so quickly? Sarah Chun, still in her diplomatic uniform, but now wearing body armor underneath, gave him a grim smile. We didn't develop it, Doctor. We adapted it. Every piece of alien technology that crashed on Earth, every derelict probe we found, every gift from friendly species, we took it apart, learned from it, and made it better. Then, we made it human. What does that mean? It means we made it nasty. Aliens fight with honor, with rules. Humans fight to win. Look at Ghost ammunition. We copied the phase shift technology from a Kinturi medical scanner. They use it to examine patients without surgery. We use it to put bullets through shields. Same technology, different application. On the battlefield, the Zarathian fleet was falling apart. Ships collided with each other as their navigation systems failed. Weapons fired randomly as targeting computers glitched. Life support systems pumped out the wrong gas mixtures, leaving crews gasping. And through it all, Ghost kept firing. One shot, one kill with mechanical precision. He had trained for this moment his entire life, spent years in isolation perfecting his craft. Every bullet was a message. You came to our home, and now you pay the price. Admiral Vextor, bleeding from a dozen wounds but still alive, managed to reach an emergency communication console. All ships retreat. Retreat immediately. The humans are. The bullet took him in the throat, cutting off his words. But some ships heard the partial message and began charging their hyperdrives. They would run, regroup, return with an even larger fleet. Control, this is Ghost. They're trying to rabbit. Request permission to use the special rounds. Permission granted. Send them a message they won't forget. Ghost reached for a different magazine, this one marked with radiation warnings and biohazard symbols. The bullets inside were humanity's most terrible creation, quantum virus rounds. Each bullet contained a weaponized computer virus that existed in quantum superposition, capable of infecting any system it touched across multiple dimensions. He fired 3 shots at 3 different fleeing vessels. The bullets phased through space, through shields, through hulls, and delivered their payload directly into the ship's central computers. The virus spread like wildfire, rewriting code, corrupting data, turning friend-foe identification systems inside out. The infected ships didn't just stop, they turned on their own fleet. Weapons systems activated without command, targeting their allies. Navigation computers plotted collision courses. Engineering systems began overloading reactors. The virus spread through every communication attempt, every sensor scan, every proximity alert. Within minutes, the mighty Zarathian fleet was destroying itself. "My God," someone whispered in the human command center. "What have we done?" "We survived," General Hayes replied coldly. "And we sent a message. Earth is not for conquest. Earth is where empires come to die." The Battle of Seoul, as historians would later call it, lasted exactly 47 minutes. 300 state-of-the-art warships reduced to floating debris by a single sniper, a swarm of micro-drones, and humanity's willingness to fight without rules. Ghost finally stood up from his position, stretching muscles that had been locked in place for hours. His job wasn't done. There would be other fleets, other threats. But for now, Earth was safe. "Control, this is Ghost. Battlefield is clear. Awaiting new targets." "Negative, Ghost. Stand down. You've earned a rest." "With respect, sir, I'll rest when every alien in the galaxy knows not to touch our world." Ghost out. The aftermath came swiftly. News of the battle spread through quantum communications to every corner of the galaxy. The mighty Zarathian Empire, which had conquered 1,000 worlds, had been humiliated by a species that had only just achieved spaceflight. Emergency sessions were called across the Galactic Council. Some species demanded immediate retaliation. Others, wiser perhaps, suggested that any species capable of destroying an entire battle fleet with one soldier and some drones should be left alone. "The humans are insane," the Altarian delegate said, his feathers ruffled with agitation. "They turned medical technology into weapons. They created viruses that exist in quantum states. They fight without honor." "No," corrected the ancient Void Walker representative, speaking for the first time in decades. "They fight without your honor. Human honor is different. They honor their world by defending it. They honor their species by ensuring its survival. This is not insanity. This is evolution." But the real shock came when human ships appeared in orbit around 17 different Zarathian colonies. Not warships, cargo vessels. Each one broadcast the same message. "This is Earth Transport Command. We're not here to fight. We're here to deliver humanitarian aid to the families of the fleet we destroyed. Food, medical supplies, and an offer. Leave us alone, and we'll share our defensive technology. Continue to threaten us, and we'll share our offensive capabilities with your enemies." The Zarathian Empire, faced with the choice between pride and survival, chose survival. They signed the Treaty of Seoul, recognizing Earth's sovereignty and agreeing to substantial reparations. Other species quickly followed suit. Within a year, humanity had gone from potential conquest to the galaxy's most feared species. Not because of their technology, but because of their mindset. They had shown that humans didn't just defend themselves. They transformed defense into devastating offense. Ghost became a legend, though few knew his real name. The Sniper of Seoul, they called him. The human who could kill from anywhere, at any time, through any defense. Some species created religious icons of him. Others used his name to frighten their children into obedience. But on Earth, Jake Morrison was just another soldier. He returned to his small apartment in Montana, where he spent his days hiking and his nights watching the stars. Occasionally, his secure phone would ring, and he would pack up his rifle for another mission, because the galaxy had learned that humanity had fangs. But some lessons needed to be taught more than once. Sarah Chun was promoted to Earth's first Ambassador General, a new position combining diplomacy with military authority. She traveled the galaxy, negotiating trade agreements with one hand while reminding species of Earth's defensive capabilities with the other. "We don't want to be your enemy," she would tell each new species she met. "We want to trade, to learn, to grow together. But if you come to our world with hostile intent, you'll discover that humans have been preparing for war since we first looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. Now we know we're not alone, and we're ready." The micro-drone technology was refined and mass-produced. Earth's moon became a fortress, bristling with hidden weapons and defensive platforms. The quantum virus was contained, but never destroyed, a digital sword of Damocles hanging over any species that might threaten humanity. And in the deepest black sites, human scientists worked on even more terrible weapons. Devices that could collapse stars, viruses that could rewrite DNA across entire species, bullets that could travel backward through time to eliminate threats before they existed. Because humans had learned the ultimate lesson of galactic survival. It's not enough to be strong. You have to be so dangerous that no one dares test that strength. The galaxy would never be the same. The age of human expansion had begun, and it started not with exploration or trade, but with a single sniper's bullet fired in defense of home. Earth stood alone, but it stood invincible. And in the darkness between stars, other species whispered warnings to their young, "Beware the humans. They look weak, but they bite. And when they bite, entire empires bleed." The Galactic Archive Station floated in the void between galaxies, a neutral ground where the greatest minds of 10,000 civilizations gathered to preserve knowledge. It had stood for 50,000 years, untouched by war, beyond the reach of any single empire. Today, it hosted the most important summit in galactic history. Sarah Chun, now bearing the title of Earth's Prime Defender, stood before an assembly of the galaxy's most powerful leaders. 5 years had passed since the Battle of Seoul. 5 years of uneasy peace, built on fear rather than understanding. It was time to change that. "Distinguished beings," she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. "We gather here because the galaxy stands at a crossroads. We can continue down a path of mutual terror, or we can forge something new. Humanity offers a proposal." Krixtal, somehow still alive despite the bullet meant for him, leaned forward. The Zarathian had changed much since their first encounter. Where once there had been arrogance, now there was cautious respect. "Speak, human. But know that many here still consider your species a threat to galactic stability." "Good," Sarah replied. "They should. But being dangerous doesn't mean being destructive. Let me tell you what humanity has learned in these 5 years of isolation." She activated a holographic display, showing star maps covered in red zones. These are the current no-go zones in the galaxy, areas where conflicts have made space travel impossible. Minefields left by dead empires. Automated defense systems still fighting wars their creators lost. Quantum storms created by weapons no one remembers how to turn off. By our count, 17% of the galaxy is effectively off-limits. The delegates murmured. Everyone knew about the dead zones, but no one had ever calculated the total area before. "Humanity proposes the Shepherd Protocol," Sarah continued. "We will clear these zones. Our snipers, the ones you fear so much, will use their skills to disable ancient weapons from safe distances. Our quantum viruses will shut down rogue AI systems. Our micro-drones will clear minefields. And in return, the Altarian delegates voice-dripped suspicion. In return, humanity gets 2 things. First, salvage rights to any technology we recover. Second, a permanent seat on the Galactic Security Council, with veto power over any military action against Earth or its allies." The chamber erupted. A primitive species demanding equal status with civilizations millennia old? It was unprecedented. From his position aboard the hidden defense platform designated Overwatch 7, Ghost listened to the debate through his neural link. His scope tracked from delegate to delegate, reading biosigns, analyzing threat levels. Old habits died hard. "You're twitchy today," his spotter, Maria Vasquez, commented. "Expecting trouble?" "Always," Ghost replied. "That's why I'm still alive." As if in answer to his caution, alarms began screaming. Not from the archive station, but from Earth itself. Emergency quantum communications flooded in. Unknown vessels had appeared in the solar system, bypassing every detection grid. "Impossible," Ghost muttered, swinging his rifle toward the anomaly. "Nothing gets past our sensors." But something had. 3 ships of unknown design, each one dwarfing the largest dreadnoughts in known space. They made no aggressive moves, simply hung there like geometric puzzles against the stars. Their hulls seemed to shift and change, as if existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. In the archive station, every delegate's personal security detail went on high alert. Sarah touched her earpiece, receiving the same information Ghost was seeing. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said calmly, though her heart raced. "It seems we have uninvited guests." The central hologram shifted to show the mysterious vessels. Several delegates gasped. The ancient Void Walker representative actually stood, something it hadn't done in centuries. "The architects," it whispered. "They have returned." Sarah had heard the legends. The architects, the species that had supposedly built the first hyperlanes, seeded intelligence across the galaxy, then vanished without a trace. Most considered them mythology. "Open a channel," she ordered. "This is Prime Defender Chin of Earth. Identify yourselves and state your intentions." The response came not through technology, but directly into every mind present. It wasn't words so much as pure concept, understanding downloaded directly into consciousness. "We are the architects. We have watched. The young species shows promise. The test was passed." "Test?" Crixtal demanded. "What test?" Images flooded their minds. The Zarathian fleet approaching Earth. Ghost's first shot. The battle, the virus, the aftermath. Every moment had been observed, recorded, analyzed. The galaxy grows stagnant. The architects continued. Empires rise and fall but do not evolve. Until now, the humans fight not just to win but to change the rules. This is evolution. This is what we waited for. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "You orchestrated this?" "The attack on Earth." "Not orchestrated. Permitted. Every species faces the crucible. Most submit or destroyed. Humanity transcended. You turned defense into philosophy, warfare into art. You killed efficiently, but offered mercy. You showed that strength and compassion are not opposites." Ghost's voice crackled through her earpiece. "Commander, I got a shot on the lead vessel." "Say the word." "Negative, Ghost." "Stand down." The sniper called Ghost. The architect's thoughts touched Jake Morrison directly. The human who made distance irrelevant. "We have a gift for you." Light enveloped the lunar sniper platform. When it faded, Ghost found himself holding a new rifle. It looked almost identical to his custom weapon, but felt different, heavier with possibility. "A rifle that shoots across time as well as space," the architects explained. "Your bullets can now reach targets in the past or future. Use it wisely." "This is insane," Maria whispered. Ghost examined the weapon with professional interest. "No more insane than anything else we've done. Though I'm going to need a new spotter's manual." In the archive station, the architects addressed the assembly once more. "Humanity will be the galaxy's shepherds. They will clear the old dangers and face the new ones. In return, they will have our protection. Any species that attacks Earth attacks us. And if we refuse," someone asked, "then you will face the next test alone, and you will likely fail." With that, the 3 vessels vanished as suddenly as they had appeared. Not into hyperspace. They simply stopped existing in this dimension. The summit dissolved into chaos. Some delegates demanded proof the architects were real. Others began calculating what it meant to have humanity backed by mythological beings. A few smarter ones started drafting trade agreements with Earth. Sarah found herself standing next to Crixtal. The Zarathian's 4 arms were trembling. "Your species," he said quietly. "In 5 years you went from primitives to the chosen of the architects." "How?" "Because we're not primitives," Sarah replied. "We're survivors who happened to develop spaceflight late. There's a difference. We spent 50,000 years learning to kill each other efficiently. When we found out there were aliens, we just scaled up." Over the following months, the Shepherd Protocol was ratified unanimously. Human teams, led by snipers like Ghost who could now literally shoot problems before they happen, began clearing the dead zones. Each successful mission brought back technology that advanced human science by decades. The first major test came when a Berserker hive, self-replicating war machines from a forgotten conflict, activated in the Nexus sector. 17 civilizations fled in terror as the machines began consuming entire star systems. Ghost and his team deployed from the newly commissioned Earth defense ship Longshot. The vessel was built around his rifle, turning the entire ship into a temporal sniper platform. "Target acquired," Ghost reported, viewing the Hive Queen through his enhanced scope. It existed in 13 dimensions simultaneously, protected by probability shields that made hitting it nearly impossible. "This thing exists across multiple timelines. I'm seeing versions where it already won, consumed the galaxy. So shoot the version where it didn't," Sarah ordered from Earth Command. Ghost smiled. Only humans would consider time travel just another range calculation. He squeezed the trigger. The bullet left his rifle and traveled not through space, but through possibility. It went backward 17,000 years, to the moment the Hive Queen was first activated. The original programmers had built in a shutdown command, just in case. Ghost's bullet delivered that command retroactively. In the present, the entire Berserker hive simply stopped. Trillions of war machines froze mid-action, then began carefully dismantling themselves. The threat that had terrified the galaxy for millennia was ended by a single shot that technically never happened. "Target neutralized," Ghost reported, "though I'm getting a hell of a temporal headache." The galaxy watched in awe. Humanity hadn't just defeated the Berserkers. They had made it so the threat never truly existed. This was power beyond comprehension, wielded by a species that still considered pizza a major food group. Years passed. The dead zones were cleared. Trade flourished. The galaxy entered a new golden age, shepherded by human teams who treated impossible problems as interesting challenges. Ghost became the first human to receive the Galactic Peace Prize, though he accepted it via video link from an undisclosed location. Old habits, but the real change was philosophical. Other species began adopting human approaches to problems. What would a human do? Became a common question in military academies. The answer was usually something insane that somehow works. The Zarathian Empire restructured their entire military doctrine around human principles. The Altarians developed their own sniper corps, though they could never quite match human patience. Even the ancient Void Walkers began experimenting with temporal weapons. "We've changed the galaxy," Dr. Webb noted during a reunion with Sarah on Earth. "Not through conquest, but through example." "That was always the plan," Sarah admitted. "We couldn't beat them at their game, so we changed the game entirely. Now everyone's playing by our rules." "And Ghost? What happened to him after the architect weapon?" Sarah smiled mysteriously. "Officially, he retired. Unofficially? Well, let's just say that when you can shoot through time, retirement becomes a flexible concept. He's out there, somewhere, and someone keeping watch." Indeed, Jake Morrison had discovered that his new rifle came with an unexpected side effect. He could see all possible futures, all potential threats. It was overwhelming at first, but he adapted. Humans always did. He set up bases throughout time, creating a network of sniper nests spanning millennia. Whenever a threat to Earth emerged in any timeline, a bullet would arrive from nowhere to eliminate it. The galaxy's guardian angel was a human sniper who existed outside normal time. The architects visited Earth only once more, appearing to Sarah in her garden as she tended to her roses. "You chose well," they said simply. "Humanity will shepherd the galaxy for the next 1,000,000 years. Your descendants will face challenges that would break today's greatest empires. But they will prevail." "Why us?" Sarah asked. "Of all the species in the galaxy, why did you bet on humans?" "Because when faced with annihilation, you didn't just fight back. You revolutionized warfare itself. You turned a sniper rifle into a diplomatic tool. You made mercy more terrifying than brutality. That kind of creative thinking is what the universe needs. And when 1,000,000 years are up, then humanity will choose the next shepherds. The cycle continues, but each iteration grows stronger. This is how the universe evolves, not through conquest, but through inspiration." As the architects faded away, Sarah returned to her roses. Somewhere in the quantum foam, Ghost watched through his scope, ensuring no threat would ever reach this peaceful scene. The galaxy spun on, protected by humanity's willingness to do the impossible. The age of human shepherding had begun, and the universe would never be the same. In schools across 10,000 worlds, children learned the lesson of Earth. When pushed, humans don't just push back. They change the entire nature of pushing. And they do it with style, precision, and a sniper's patience that can outlast eternity itself.